Elite game. Most humans die without ever realizing their personality was assembled by incentives they never agreed to. People love blaming destiny. Trauma makes a convenient excuse. Genetics gets dragged in when nobody wants responsibility. But most behavior isn't mysterious. It's engineered by systems. Personality doesn't come from fate or bloodlines as much as people like to believe. It comes from the systems that reward certain behaviors and punish others. Invisible reward loops shaping desire, ambition, morality, obedience. The architecture of your decisions was built before you were conscious enough to object. They rewrite incentives, they starve some behaviors and reward others until whole populations start acting like trained animals and calling it culture. If you hear a lie long enough, it starts sounding like fact. If something's everywhere, people assume it must be real. If something keeps them safe or fed, they start calling it right. Nobody tells you what to think anymore. That era was loud and sloppy and left fingerprints everywhere. Modern control is quieter. It doesn't bark orders. It edits outcomes. It decides what gets rewarded, what gets punished, what gets amplified, what gets buried after that. People do the policing themselves and call it personal values. You learn fast what keeps you fed, tolerated, promoted, protected. You learn what gets you sidelined, mocked, flagged, erased. Your nervous system adapts faster than your logic ever will. Long before you form an opinion, your body already knows which thoughts feel dangerous. That's biology being farmed. Not in a lab with white coats and syringes. Out in the open in rent cycles and debt and status games and dopamine loops. In the quiet terror of falling behind whatever invisible standard the decade decided was respectable. Your nervous system doesn't care about philosophy. It cares about safety, approval, access, survival. So it learns fast. It learns which opinions get nods and which get silence, which questions make the room uncomfortable, which ambitions get rewarded and which get quietly ridiculed out of existence, which risks feel brave and which feel socially suicidal. Before you ever build a worldview, your body has already mapped the minefield. That's how obedience gets embedded below language. That's how people defend systems they've never consciously agreed to. Most humans don't realize how narrow their imagination has become. They mistake the limits of their environment for the limits of reality. They call it being realistic, sensible, mature, responsible. What they really mean is trained. Trained to want what's available. Trained to fear what threatens stability. Trained to confuse comfort with truth. You can watch it happen in real time. Watch how quickly people police each other when someone steps outside the acceptable script. Not because they're evil, because instability feels dangerous, because uncertainty threatens the little structures they built to stay upright in a rigged game. People don't defend the system because they love it. They defend it because they're terrified of what happens if it collapses. That's the leverage. Somewhere upstream, the incentive architecture keeps getting tuned. Pressure adjusted, tensions redistributed, scarcity nudged here, relief injected there. Just enough friction to keep everyone moving. Just enough reward to keep them believing the ladder is fair even when the rungs are greased. You don't need mass obedience, you just need predictable behavior. The mistake is assuming this requires some grand evil mastermind twirling a villain mustache. It doesn't. Systems evolve their own hunger, power compounds, feedback loops tighten. What starts as optimization slowly turns predatory. Nobody has to declare themselves the villain. The machine does the damage on autopilot. That's why pointing fingers at politicians, celebrities are trending villains misses the point. Those are surface waves, foam on top of deep current replace the faces and the structure keeps breathing exactly the same way. The real architecture lives in incentives, not personal. And now the architecture is straining. The old rewards don't land like they used to. The old fears don't paralyze like they used to. People feel overworked, overstimulated, underpaid, undermeaninged, overmanaged, undertrusting all at once. The story they were sold about effort and outcome doesn't match the math anymore. Something is slipping. People start sensing it in fragments. A weird tension in conversations. A bitterness in humor. A fatigue in ambition. A quiet rage that doesn't know where to point itself yet. Trust erodes sideways instead of collapsing straight down. Nobody agrees on what's real. What matters? What's worth sacrificing for? That's what a system looks like when it starts eating its own wiring. Bump up, I like to catch. bum.